Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about how to recover from burnout. So we'll go through 5 major tools and really important things that are valuable to keep in mind if this is something that you're experiencing. Tool number 1 is to actively become aware of your thinking and your belief patterns that often put you in a position to be more likely to be burnt out. Here's why. Throughout the day, we have different things that elicit emotional responses. One of those things is our belief patterns, because if we have an automatically activated belief pattern, let's pretend the belief is I'm unsafe at my job, let's say, then that belief pattern is going to spark feelings that are uncomfortable. And so if we have these programmed beliefs, the moment our boss criticizes us, that belief is going to be activated. I'm unsafe, I'm going to lose my job. And belief and thought patterns tend to go hand in hand. So when we have this core belief triggered, we can start feeling this feeling of being unsafe, which is then likely to also just trigger more thoughts. And thought patterns trigger emotions as well. And these things go hand in hand. We often have belief and thought patterns that are then triggering more painful emotions. So let's say, for example, you get criticized. Your interpretation of that criticism could be, oh, this person's trying to give me a hard time because they believe in me, right? So your perception, which is basically made out of your beliefs and thoughts, is going to dictate your emotional response. These things are subconscious. Our perceptual patterns are subconscious. If we can become conscious about them and recognize that they're happening and reframe our beliefs, reprogram our beliefs, create a cognitive reframe around our thinking in real time, then we can change the way that we feel. Now, as this particularly relates to burnout, what I see the most is people have a lot of thought and belief patterns that are oriented towards pressure. I'm not good enough, so I have to put more pressure on myself. I'm not worthy, so I better overcompensate and earn my worth. I'm not doing enough. I shouldn't sit still. I have to be improving. I have to be, and I notice on a very strong basis, people who are burnt out always are coming from a place of lack in relationship to their life or their career. And it's like lack of being enough, lack of being capable, lack of being far ahead enough, lack of being financially stable enough, and it's just like this constant pressure. And what you have to realize is that if we're thinking roughly 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day, which is based on a study done at the University of Southern California's Neuroimaging Institute, if we're thinking thoughts on an ongoing basis that are triggering emotional responses, those emotional responses are also made up of neurochemical reactions. So now we just have these emotional responses followed by neurochemical reactions like cortisol that are wreaking havoc on our nervous system and our body's ability to regulate itself, and even wreaks havoc on our immune system response over time. So you have like the neurochemistry for burnout if you don't correct your beliefs and thoughts. So you can start by doing this literally by writing out, like, what are my patterns? What are my thoughts throughout the day? What are my thoughts about my work, my career, my life? What are my thoughts about myself? What beliefs do I carry? And the more you can surface these to a conscious level and then do the work to reprogram them, the better. If you want a course that will help you really specifically with reprogramming, we have a 21 ways to reprogram your subconscious mind course inside PDS. I highly recommend checking it out. You can pull like 3 or 4 tools that you love and can keep on your back hand, or whatever the expression is, I can't think of the expression, but keep in the back of your mind is one expression. And just have those on hand for your whole life, right? Like at anytime you're going through a problem or a pain point, like, oh, this is the reprogramming tool I use to help myself move through this more effectively. So you can check that out for free for 7 days by clicking on the link in the description box below, and then going into your dashboard with all of the courses laid out in the school, going in the search bar and just typing in 21 ways or 21, and you'll see that course pop up for you, and you'll have access to all of those courses for 7 days. So the subconscious reprogramming one and all the other 47 or so courses that we have in there. So check those out. So that's number 1. Number 2 is we have to learn to meet our unmet needs. When we have chronically unmet needs in our lives, what ends up happening is we feel chronic pain. And I mean emotional pain. Like, I don't necessarily mean physical pain, although I do believe that the emotions over time, because of the neurochemical response that we have around emotions, or what emotions are made up of, are essentially neurochemical reactions. Over time, this can have an effect on our body too. But when we have, let's say, for example, I have an unmet need for love and connection, and let's pretend I live alone, and let's pretend that I'm in lockdown and all these things are happening. Over time, that's going to hurt. And until that void is filled in some form. I'm going to keep having that pain of hurt. Except for that can only be resolved when I go correct the issue. And that pain is there to support me. It's there to actually give me feedback. Hey, you have a need that's unmet. And the same thing goes for stress. If we're doing something that we do not like, that is totally out of alignment with our needs, we're going to feel chronic despair, resistance, procrastination, frustration, stress, overwhelm by what we're doing. And these emotions over time are going to lead to burnout as well. Number 3, we have to learn to rest and recharge our nervous system. Sometimes people can be in a heightened or upregulated state for very long periods of time. And as this is taking place for long periods of time, you can get into a position where, because you're so upregulated, your nervous system is always in sympathetic nervous system mode, or at least much more frequently in that mode, and not in parasympathetic nervous system mode. And we can sustain that for quite some time, but over time and after a long period of time, we actually have nervous system dysregulation and dysfunction can occur, and we can feel chronically stressed, tired. It's like we can feel sleepy, but sort of, it's like you'll feel like physically tired, but your mind won't shut off. And it's not a very nice feeling to feel for people. And so it's really important that we learn nervous system regulation tools, some really great ones. And by the way, we have a whole course about this too. If you want to check it out, you can check these all out for 7 days for free if you join the 7-day free membership. But one of the big courses we have that I highly recommend, it's one of everybody's favorite courses in the school, is somatic processing and nervous system regulation course. It's all about tips and tools and habits and how to regulate emotions, how to regulate your nervous system function. And a big part of this is using different tasks, right? Like actually having time where you are doing activities and tasks that are down regulating at a very high level. Some different things you can practice are meditation, active relaxing, mindfulness, monotasking, light stretching or walking, yoga, all these different things that are actually there to relieve stress and help us stay regulated, present, grounded, breath work, all these different things. So anyways, really powerful stuff. Our next major tip here is to learn to hit the reset button. Sometimes when we get really focused on something, we can get so focused. And if you're like me, this is something I am totally guilty of and actively have to practice in my life. I can get so focused when I'm interested in something that it's like I put the blinders on to everything else in life. And it's really valuable to be able to just pause. Go outside of that little box of your focus and take a step back. And that's usually where a lot of beautiful things come from. Creativity, new ideas, new perspectives, innovation is when we get outside of our little box of focus. And while it can be useful, of course, for periods of time to be laser focused on stuff, there can be downside for prolonged periods of time, especially when we're not aware of this stuff. And when we are being in such a laser focused state that it's to the exclusion of other areas of our lives, like physical health, just being able to relax, being able to spend time with family and friends and recharge. So hitting that reset button can be very valuable to break up those patterns. And number 5, find a way to do more of what you love. The more we do what we love, the more purpose and meaning we have, the more energy we have to put into things, and the less resistance we have, which creates less stress, less havoc on our nervous system, less negative neurochemical reactions over time, and can be hugely powerful. So a way of doing that would be to sit down, ask yourself, what are 5 ways to incorporate more of what I love, what I'm passionate about, what I'm naturally always interested in, love researching. And it can be in your actual career, or it can be in your off time. So you at least have a counterbalance if you are not able to, for example, leave a career immediately at this moment. So hopefully this makes a lot of sense. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, please let me know in the comments below. Anything about burnout, anything about recovery, recharging, somatic processing, nervous system regulation, any of that stuff, let me know in the questions below. They are the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. Please subscribe to this channel if you watch, if you hang out here and you haven't subscribed yet, I would totally appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video.